Okay, I already pressed it. So let me just... Okay. So we're currently living in the Dominican Republic while we are waiting for the IRCC to reissue our documents to enter Canada. We are making this video because more and more people, including some friends we know, are considering moving to Canada. The most popular way to do it is actually through a process known as express entry. And in this video, we are going to explain what it is and everything you need to know before you make the decision to apply for it. We will also share our own personal experience and show you how things are going with us.
Okay, so express entry is an immigration system based on points that grants permanent residence to professional and skilled workers. The IRCC has 3 economic immigration programs. We have the Federal Skilled Worker Program, we have the Federal Skilled Trades Program, and the Canadian Experience Class. People can choose based on their situation and migrate to Canada. We will only talk about the Federal Skilled Worker Program because this is the one that we personally applied for. The IRCC draws a number of applications from the pool of profiles every 2 weeks, and the higher your CRS score is, the easier it is for you to be invited. Now with the pandemic, things have changed a bit, but you more or less get an idea.
So before you apply for any program, the first thing you want to ask yourself is like, if I'm eligible to apply. To be very honest, we did not really check this in detail, as IRCC has a system that allows you to answer some questions and they will let you know right away if you can apply. The only thing you will need to confirm is that your work experience of job titles need to fit the NLC type 0, A, or B, which represent managerial, professional, and technical job respectively. Usually, if you're under 30, have post-secondary education, work experience, and your English is okay, you should not have a problem. But still, you can see what their requirements are and how they weigh the importance of each factor.
Before we move on to the necessary documents, we suggest you use the online CRS score calculator to check your score first. And this is the tool that you use to calculate your score. It's on the IRCC official website. Very easy to use. All you gotta do is fill out the information. You have to be very honest with everything, with the language score and everything. Here we're just using some dummy information, just to show you. You have to take into consideration any additional points, any provincial nominations, if you're going for any of those, your master, if you have a master's degree, your education level, everything. They ask for everything, and you get a final score here. You see, that was our result there. Especially if you have taken the IELTS exam before. You will more or less get an idea if you can get an invitation. That is a very important thing to consider. The worst case will be that you prepare all the documents and put yourself in the pool, but your score is actually not high enough to be invited. The pandemic has more or less messed up the draws, but from the previous rounds, we will say you need to have at least about 450 to get invited.
Okay, so here we are in the most troublesome part, required documents. To put yourself in the pool, you need to provide information and complete your profile. Basically, at this stage, you do not need to upload any files or any of the required documents, but you need those documents to complete the form online. First of all, a valid passport. You need to fill in a form with your information on the passport. If you have more than one nationality, you need to add it or them to the form.
Well, then you have your language test results. If your native language is not English or French, you need to prove that you have enough language proficiency to live in Canada. If you know both languages, then we recommend that you pick the one that you are better at to be your first official language in the application. The IRCC accepts the CELPIP General Test or the IELTS General Test for the English language. We personally took the IELTS in our case. There are a lot of people giving tips on how to practice and get a good grade for the IELTS exam. We did not do anything as we both took the IELTS academic exam before, so we felt that we didn't really need to practice much. You need to make sure you have at least the CLB7 for all the abilities. The most important abilities are listening and reading from, let's say, our personal investigation and analysis of the scores. If you get a very good score for speaking but a low score for listening, you will probably not get a very high CRS score. That's what we found out. You need to get at least 8 for the listening to be considered like a very good score. For French, IRCC accepts the TEF in Canada. Make sure your test result is less than 2 years old because they expire. The best way is to take a new one for the application. In this form, you will need to input the scores you get.
Next, you need to provide proof of education. If you're studying in Canada, it's actually much easier, but usually that's not the case. If you get your degrees in your own or other countries, you need to get an educational credential assessment report from a designated organization to verify that your foreign degree, diploma, or certificate is valid and equal to the Canada one, the Canadian one. We used World Education Service, WES West, for this process. It took us around a month to get the reports. If you have a master's degree, you need to do the same. You will get a code from the West report, and you just need to use that for the form online.
Other information that you may need to search for a bit is the National Occupational Classification, NOC, a job title and code. You will need to go to the IRCC website and search for a code that represents your occupation and make sure to fill it in the form. So basically your job and the work you have done in the past must be either skill type 0 or A or B to use for the express entry as a skilled worker. So something that we didn't get from other people is that it is better for you to really think about whether you can get a proof of work experience for all of the work experience you put in the system. Our suggestion is that if you cannot provide proof of any, just don't put it in. It's better to just write unemployed or something like that. And of course, you will have to provide at least 1 year work experience with proof to match with the NOC that you actually put.
You will need to give an approximate amount of money that you will bring to Canada. The amount needs to be more than the required amounts that IRCC requests. If your single is around 13,200 Canadian dollars, if you apply as a couple like us, you will need to have around 16,500 Canadian dollars to make sure you can support your basic needs without a job for the first few months. But at this stage, you only need to write the amount. You do not need to provide any documents.
Keep in mind that you can get some additional points if you have a provincial nomination that you need to apply separately or a job offer in Canada. If you have either one of these two, you will most likely get invited in the next draw. Very likely. So let's talk about the cost of preparing some documents now. So of course, it may vary based on where you take the IELTS exam, which organization you use for the ECA report, and how much your university charges you for different documents, along with printing costs, shipping costs, etc. Okay, but if you want to be on the safer side, you should get around 800 Canadian dollars per person. But again, this varies a lot depending on where you live and other factors.
So after you prepare all the required documents, you can go to the IRCC website to start your profile. So this is the website you will go to sign up for an account. Later you will use the GC key. So here you register for one. It shows you basically all the steps you're going to encounter later. So click register, you click sign up, and here that's how you get started. We cannot really show you how to complete the form, but the instruction is very clear. You just need to follow the step and complete the form. One thing that took us a lot of time is that they asked about your travel record. We assume it has to match with the stamps on the passport. You need to provide the countries you have been to and how much time you stay. Just try to be as accurate as you can and be honest.
So, after you submit your profile, which is basically the form that you've been filling in, you'll be ranked automatically in the express entry pool using the points-based system. Your score is based on the information that you put in the profile. So what you can do at this point is to keep an eye on the draws and your email. Very important tool in this whole process. So if your CRS score is higher than the score of the lowest ranked candidate of that draw, then you will get the invitation. If you haven't been invited for a long time, you may want to try and increase your score by taking another IELTS exam, either finding a job or applying for a provincial nomination program.
Again, what we are sharing in this video is based on what we remember and our own experience. Things happen differently to everyone. We know some people haven't got their application approved for a long time. We know someone who has a very low score but still tried to get into the pool. We know someone who applied earlier than us but still haven't got a reply. So it really depends, and there is not enough transparency from IRCC for people to know how they make a decision. If you are interested in the Express Entry program, please go to the IRCC website to check in detail.
So guys, we have some words to everyone in the same situation as us. Honestly, the waiting is really hard. We understand, especially for people with expired COPR holders like us. We actually got it in January last year, like 2021, and then we were not allowed to go because of the travel restrictions due to the COVID-19. So we needed to do the medical exam again and wait for the COPR again. So basically we had to do most of the things again. The delay is, it's very inconsiderate, and we understand perfectly how frustrated people feel all around the world, so we can very definitely relate. So the best thing you can do is to really stay hopeful that it will come eventually, and do your best.
So anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please support us by clicking the subscribe button and follow us on Instagram. Wish you all luck in the application process.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.